YouTube. Today I want to respond to the comments. I don't very often. But the video I put out, just a brief little thing, is like, hey, avoiding FUD ranges is a good thing, which big believer in that. Generated a lot of comments, and I'm going to go through some of them and talk about them and just share people's experiences because I think there was a lot of interesting stuff in here. One guy says, "I'm a member at a range that's owned by the local PD. Problem is the guys that run it don't allow all the practical stuff unless you're a cop. It's dumb." Yes, so there's one range local to me that had this same kind of dynamic. Like one county police agency used it for a long time, but it was built with NRA money. So there was some arrangement when the range was built that it had to be open for public use, and it went on for years, and ultimately the county just like gave the NRA the money back and made it their own private police range. Um, so I've seen this dynamic play out before, but typically it'll be something like that where the police agency, that if they control it, they're not going to be big on letting other people use it. And I think probably they don't even know why it's that way. That's just what you're going to see. One guy posts, yes, sadly, having moved to Utah from the Wisconsin Illinois border area, the ranges are garbage. Stand in a box and have Elmer give you once over with 15 questions about how you are sure your gun is unloaded. I won't say which range, but the safety officer was walking the line and picking up everyone's gun and dry firing in the name of safety. I saw this and bagged up before he arrived. The big difference is most ranges here are public oriented, whereas back home they're more private club oriented, which I greatly prefer. I hate shooting where any rando can pull up next to you and go nuts training his gangbang shooting arm with this custom high point 9mm boom cannon. Okay, um, pretty similar experience to what I've had. One guy says here, I live 2 miles away from Richmond Gun Range in the Bay Area, Northern California. Been a member for 20 plus years. Great range for serious competitions, but absolutely the worst place to train. If you even call it that. There are no quality training facilities within 2 hours drive from San Francisco. Within 3 hours, there are great places like BLM lands, that kind of stuff. Okay, well, he says gun ranges in Bulgaria, a former communist country, offer a lot better training opportunity than their regulated ranges in California, where you cannot draw from a holster and have to shoot one shot per 4 seconds and such nonsense. Now, that hasn't been my experience at every range in California. Um, I've had good experiences at ranges in California generally, but the ranges there tend to be more commercial and controlled. So it's a lot of them. It's like it's about getting them the money. Like if you go to CTA, California Tactical Academy, it's like they just want to get the money. Like Richmond Rod and Gun Club in the Bay Area, yeah, I could see that being very difficult for training. Like I think they make you be like a RO for the range before they'll let you train on the bays. I think. I don't know. One guy posts, Ben, you and I've talked about my range situation. You've trained on the range, so you have some experience. You're spot on. High population density, very anti gun legislature. It amounts to a lot of BS. Yeah, that has been my experience. Like typically, the high population density and a bad political situation typically makes things very bad. Not in every case, but in many cases. Yes, there are some FUD tendencies, but the BOD leaves members alone provided you don't do stupid shit. When stupid shit does happen, they tend to be knee jerk and way overstep with the reaction. You just have to know how to get along and play within the boundaries set up by boomers. Yeah, so I have noticed that at ranges that they're super reactionary, and when anything bad happens, they'll want to make it so that that thing can never, like, they'll want to make it so that thing cannot possibly happen again through rules or regulations. And yeah, so like if they'll take some table, like let's say they put a table or something out on the range, and then some dumbass like shoots it, then they'll make rules like, oh, you're not allowed to leave tables on the range, not like, hey, this person clearly just shot this thing that's not a target. It's very strange the way these guys think. Anyway, one guy says, I would love to have access to a big desert with no rules. That sounds amazing. It is amazing. My choices are a small indoor range or my uncle's land, which has a couple areas I can shoot, maybe 150, 200 yards. Yeah, that sounds okay. Still requires permission and availability. Yeah, that's a problem. There may be a club or two within an hour, but I don't want to deal with club fees, politics, and FUDs. I just want to do what I want to do without dealing with other people. Yeah, man, I completely agree. One guy posts here. I need a range I can draw from a holster, fire more than one shot every 2 seconds. The arid desert sounds like a great place to train. I don't have any place like that around me here in Pennsylvania. I do belong to a sportsman's club, which is basically a bar with a little range out back that nobody with nobody there during the week. I can go and do whatever I need, so that's the best. I don't need amenities, a store, arrogant range idiots, overcompensating owners, or other nitwits to interrupt me. Yes, so that would be my range situation in the northern in Wisconsin. I mean, I still live there. So like the ranges I'm a member of there are basically that. There's like nobody's there. There's maybe a little bar, and that's it. And it's like $20 a year or $50 a year to be a member in many cases. It's not that much money. So that's a good situation. Um, one guy, like a few guys have been nice, like offering to train with me. Oh, here's a comment. My range went from being great for USPSA training to horrible overnight with Fudd board members. Pretty much quit USPSA because of it. Yeah, that is sad, but I could totally see that. I mean, the unfortunate thing, if you're training seriously with guns or you want to do USPSA for competition or whatever, you need a place to train. It's like when it gets to you can fire one shot every 4 seconds, it's like, I'm not going to go. I barely shoot indoors, like on a lane. If I have one lane indoors and I can draw from a holster and do rapid fire, I will still barely shoot indoors just because I really don't like shooting indoors. Ben, great topic. I'm an older guy living in Massachusetts. Picked up the sport late in life. Took one of your classes once. Loved it, but did not really belong with the accomplished shooters. It absolutely sucks here. You cannot live fire train anywhere. There are Fudd ranges everywhere, and that comes with a bunch of dickheads. My wife and I vacation in Arizona, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tucson, Sedona area. That's a big area. And love it. This is one place I would move and really should. Quick story. Got pulled over by an officer a few years back on Scottsdale Boulevard, 10 p.m. after dinner and going so slow, 35 miles an hour. Asked if I'd been drinking, asked if I had drugs, asked me if I had guns, and then ran my shit, returned me, said it was good. Okay, very nice story. Yeah, Mike, I would say Phoenix is there's a lot of shooting in Phoenix, but if you live, I mean, I would want to live in a place where I have access to the desert as opposed to like the Fudd ranges. Yeah, so lots of comments. I mean, with people talking about um, like, hey, what situation they have or their frustrations with different situations. Public land has always been a really big solution for me. I shot on public land, like county owned public land, for like 10 years. Before the county that had that area, they shut it down and disallowed shooting because people were leaving trash there. But that was a great deal until until it wasn't. But anyway, this is a very interesting topic, the Fudd ranges. It's interesting to go through the comments and read about people's experiences. I think this is something like just getting a place to go train is like half the problem for so many people. Or maybe it's the whole problem for so many people. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll keep watching and yeah, we'll see what comes out of this conversation.